Here comes the big one. This is mainly for sophomores. Juniors and seniors, it's kind of late. But now let's face it, well, this is for sophomores and Georgians. Let's face it, you will be happier if you don't lose your Hope Scholarship, if you're from Georgia, and if from the time you're a sophomore thereon you make great grades, you will be happier. Because think just for a minute of the doors that close. And sorry, you seniors, I'm fixing to whap you in the face if you don't have a super-duper point average, but so be it. Think of the doors that close if you don't graduate from Tech with a really high GPA. Doors close. You can't get in med school. Can't get in law school. Can't get in grad school. Can't get a 6-figure salary with ExxonMobil. All of these doors close if you don't graduate with a really high GPA. McKinsey, the most famous consulting firm on the planet Earth, will not interview a Tech student with less than a 3.8. And so it behooves all of us to do as well academically as we can. And the reason I say that, well, of course, you'll be happier when you have good grades. And it behooves you to ask yourself to kind of set up the pins to do well academically. It behooves you to ask yourself, why in the hell am I here? Why am I a student at Georgia Tech? And there's a very simple 3-part answer. I'm at Tech to master a body of knowledge so I can get a good job when I graduate, so I can support myself and a family. You think about that. You're laying the foundation blocks for the rest of your life. So it's really a big damn deal. But you got to master that body of knowledge. And what's the index that shows how well you mastered your body of knowledge? Whether we like it or not, it's the damn GPA. And so you want to do well academically. And we're talking about happy people are in control of their life. One thing college students don't realize is to the 90% probability level, you, my fine furried friends, have control over your GPA. It's not a roll of the dice. We know, we educators, we know why this group of college students does well academically and why this group does poorly. And at Georgia Tech, it is not a question of intellect. You don't get in Georgia Tech unless you have the smarts to do really, really well academically. It's behaviors. The people that make a 2.0 at Tech are not doing the behaviors. They're not doing them well enough. They're not doing enough of them as the students who make a 3.8. They're doing the behaviors. And research has been done for years by educators in college, and we know what the behaviors are. And I observed them during the 30 years I ran dorms. There are 9 behaviors such that if you do them well, you will have a 90% probability of making at least a 3.5 at Georgia Tech. And there is a package posted on the class webpage. If you're watching this presentation on the internet, it's posted on my website. There's a package called the ABAS form system. ABAS, Assessing Behaviors for Academic Success. Big package on the class website that goes into great detail on how you use the ABAS form system to make great grades. And what that does, the ABAS form itself is simply a piece of paper that has the 9 behaviors on it, and you get a point value every Sunday night. It's like going for a physical. You go get a physical exam, you get all these numbers back from your blood test and what else. The ABAS form is like getting an academic physical every Sunday night on how well you did the preceding week. And the 9 behaviors are listed on the ABAS form. You get points for how well you did each behavior last week. And the statistics show that if you consistently score, if you do all the behaviors perfectly well, your score is 100. But the studies show that if you consistently score on the ABAS form with the 9 behaviors, 87 or higher every week, so that your average for the semester is 87 or higher, then you have the 90% probability of making at least 3.5. 9 out of every 10 Tech students who do this make a 3.5 or higher. And lots of them make a 4.0. And so this is well worth doing. And Georgians, you ignore this at your peril. You will be happier if you keep your Hope Scholarship. Your parents certainly will be happier if you keep your Hope Scholarship. And the ABAS form system is a way that virtually guarantees you will keep your Hope Scholarship. So you need to look at this. Now, if you've got, use yourself as a litmus test. Happy people are in control of their lives. Show you are in control of the academic phase of your life. See how well you do the 9 behaviors. Here they are, based on research done with college students. 9 behaviors that lead to academic success. Number 1, never cut class. Number 2, always do 90 to 100% of the homework. Number 3, study 2 hours out of class during the week for every semester hour credit. So if you're taking 15 semester hour credits, you study 30 hours that week. That one's really important. Number 4, use the college helping sources, which is tutoring. The whole second floor of the Clough building is devoted to tutoring in every subject. Doesn't matter. ME 4271, doesn't matter. They've got tutoring in every subject. College helping sources, tutoring, study groups. Get in a study group so you can help each other before the quiz. And number 3, Word. Word means old quizzes. And you'd be surprised the number of professors now that post their old quizzes online. Fraternities and sororities have the best Word files. You know, where it's a great big file. It's not physical paper anymore. It's electronic. But first it's by major, mechanical engineering. Then it's by all the courses, 1401, 2207. And then within each course, it's the professors who teach it. And behind the professor is all their old quizzes. And if you don't have access to a Word file, now like I said, a lot of it's online, but if you don't have access to a Word file, form a study group with a sorority person or a fraternity person who does have access to a Word file and get them to bring the old quiz to the study group before the quiz. So that's the 4th behavior. Use the college helping sources. The 5th behavior is so important. In fact, this is, of the 9 behaviors, this is the one you never violate. There's 2 of them you never violate, and this is one of them. Have perfect time management skills, meaning you have 4 calendars, a daily calendar, weekly calendar, monthly calendar, and semester calendar. And you use the calendar software like iCal or Google Cal, makes it really easy. And the critical calendar is the weekly calendar, because it's got all the daily calendars. Weekly calendar is 7 columns, corresponding to 7 days of the week, and 24 cells in a column, corresponding to the 24 hours per day. And most students who have never been exposed to the ABAS form system give me a deer in the headlights look when I tell them your weekly calendar has no blank cells. Every cell is labeled. And on that weekly, and the good thing about using iCal or Google Cal, you make a generic weekly calendar. Generic, it's got 4 things on it. 8 hours sleep every night, all your classes, 2-for-1 study time, and maintenance functions. When you eat breakfast, when you eat lunch, when you eat supper, when you work out, when you do laundry, when you shop at Publix, etc. And then you have blank cells left over when you do that. But you make the generic calendar, click the mouse 4 times, you've got your monthly calendar. Click that 4 times, you've got your semesterly calendar. And every Sunday night, you look at the generic calendar for the coming week and fill in the blank cells. No blank cells. No blank cells? What about Saturday and Sunday? Hey, all work and no play makes the average tech student a very dull young adult. And so your Saturday cells are filled in with labels like do nothing, have fun, hang out with friends, play Frisbee, go to a movie, enjoy myself. You build your recreation into your weekly calendar. And so you have your 4 calendars. And the 2 items on the calendar you never compromise are 8 hours sleep every night. Now suppose you've got midnight to 8 on your calendar as sleep. And something comes up and you don't get in bed until 1 a.m. Do you just kiss off that last hour of sleep? No. During that 24-hour segment, you get to take an hour nap sometime later in the day so that your total is still 8 hours. Never sacrifice sleep for 24 hours, and you never sacrifice 2-for-1 study time per week. You've got 4 hours study time programmed for a Tuesday night from 8 to 12. Something happens and you don't start studying until 9. Do you kiss off that 1 hour? No. You move it. move it to Wednesday afternoon, or you move it to Saturday or Sunday, where your 2-for-1 study time per week is always preserved. Sports fans, it takes work to do well academically, but the ABAS form just channels that work. You've got the intellect, the ABAS form just channels your behaviors. And speaking of your behaviors, that fifth behavior on the ABAS form is have perfect time management. It has been said that 10% of your effort goes into making your calendars. 90% of your effort goes into following it. And you do that. In fact, that's the sixth behavior, following your schedule. The seventh behavior is task management. Every day you have a to-do list. And then you prioritize it. And so today, if I've only got time to do one thing on my list, it'll be this one. It's got a 1 by it. If I've got more time, it'll be these two. And if you're like me, I never get everything on the to-do list done each day. And so what do? At the end of the day, you take the 6 or 8 things you didn't do, transfer it to the next day, add the new tasks, and reprioritize. So that's the seventh behavior. Have daily task lists. The eighth behavior is avoid computer-aided distractions. And I know students, when they come to tech, and they've really got their head screwed on right, they erase every computer game on their hard disk, and they erase all the URLs for the online games, where they don't do computer games while they're a student. And you have to avoid, and I'm going to explain this a little better in just a second, but you have to avoid computer-aided distractions like computer games and watching hours and hours of movies or documentaries or spending time on Facebook or spending time with non-academic emails, all of that. Yeah, you avoid that. Now, if you put it in the category of recreation, then it's okay. And it's okay if your recreational use of computer-aided distraction averages less than 45 minutes a day. And I've known students who had 0 computer-aided distractions during the week, and Saturday morning they played World of Warcraft from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. 4 hours, you divide that by 7, that's less than 45 minutes a day average. And it's recreation, it's okay. But in general, you avoid computer-aided distractions. And the ninth behavior, we've alluded to this a lot already, get 8 hours sleep. Now, why 8? Those of you who had psychology know that the mantra is we human beings need 7.5. Well, we're genetically programmed for 5 sleep cycles, each one lasting an hour and a half on average for most people. And 1.5 times 5 is 7.5 hours sleep. That's where it comes from. For you, young adults between 14 and 24, no. Your sleep cycle, on average, is an hour and 40 minutes, not an hour and 30, or an hour and 45. That's why you need 8 to 10 hours sleep to really be at your peak of mental functioning. And so that's on the ABAS form. And so that's it. And the details about the ABAS form system will be posted on the class webpage. So if you're a Georgian, ignore this at your peril. If you're a sophomore, ignore this at your peril. Because I've known students that I had the opportunity to work with their first semester. They did the ABAS form, they made a 4.0, and they made great grades. The other 7 semesters they were at Georgia Tech. And they went to work for ExxonMobil with a 6-figure salary. And so it's a good thing. So you do that.